Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Gaming with me, Tony Mo. And I made a knife out of foam. And then I made a hand cannon out of foam. Both of these things from Destiny. Of course, this is the hunter's knife from Destiny. You know, the thing that the hunter throws and sticks in people's faces. And of course the hand cannon that many a player use in Destiny, especially in the Crucible right now, and especially if it's exotic and its name happens to be Thorn or Last Word. But what we're actually here to talk about today, a complete tangent from the channel, is prop making. More specifically, prop making out of foam, which I'm going to persuade you to do, to take on as a hobby, hopefully throughout the course of this video. But actually, let's go ahead and start with my roots, which are back over there, because I threw it earlier. Alright. Here we go. This is my unfinished Papakura M60 pistol from Halo. From Halo 1, of course. The best version. The pew-pew snipe version. It's way oversized because when props are built, they are built usually to fit the in-game character that would often use them to scale. And if you ever notice when you see a Marine or even an ODST using the M60, it looks massive in their hands because the Chief somehow had to be the, it was built for Spartans. I don't know how that happened. Like, Spartans were the only people who needed guns. Why didn't they have their own guns? Halo problems. So I made this actually a few years ago, probably around the same time I started YouTube. And I was inspired by a lot of prop makers at the time, the Heroes Workshop, which is still going. In fact, I'm going to name several prop makers who I've been inspired by throughout the course of my, how should I say this, interest in prop making. More specifically, my interest in making my own set of armor for cosplaying. Initially, it was a Halo set of armor, and that person was Stealth from the Heroes Workshop. I'll have him down in the description below. He's still doing stuff. Makes easily my favorite sets of Iron Man armor, including a War Machine armor with a working minigun. Like it pew pew rotates. It doesn't actually shoot people, but it rotates, and it's awesome. So definitely check his channel out. And he was doing a lot of stuff out of Papakura at the time, and he was doing some stuff out of foam too. And for some reason, I just like it didn't click for me, and I was like, I'll do Papakura. That seems really affordable, having to, spend all the time, cut this thing out of paper, glue it together, and then have to like cast it with like resin and fiberglass to make it really hard so it doesn't break and fall apart, and then paint it. I don't know what I was thinking. Needless to say, I didn't have the time or the money for it, and I really had to focus on my YouTube channel. So I stepped away from it, and the M60 went into the corner of my room where it got heavily damaged and sits there to this day. But recently, I saw Bill Duran from Punish Props on Tested. He teamed up with Frank Villiapalo, I think that's how you say his name, who is also a sort of model maker. He makes a lot of masks. Tested has worked with him before. Makes some really cool stuff. Both of these guys really creative and really talented in their fields. So they got together to make a cosplay for District 9. The main character from District 9, when he gets his hand all infected and he's like, "Rrr," and then they force him to use the alien gun and shoot it. Well, Frank made the hand and Bill made the alien rifle, which was gorgeous and meticulously crafted. It was absolutely stunning. In fact, it was just as beautiful and just as accurate as the Wetaworks one. Wetawork is like a huge, company that makes props. Bill Duran's couple people at, Punish Props, and he made a Matrix mold for the very first time and made that. And there's a lot of stuff behind that. It's really crazy. So I went and I checked out Bill though, and I found that he had a video on how to make a foam knife from, the hunter's knife from Destiny out of foam. And I was like, dude, that's easy. I can do that like today. So I went out and I bought the stuff, sat down with my girlfriend, and I made this. It's unfinished. I still have to paint it. And I've kind of went with my own lore. If you look at the video, which I strongly recommend you check out because I hope it inspires you like it inspired me. There's actually originally the hunter logo, but my idea is I'm actually going to use this knife. I don't want to rebuild it. I want to refine it, paint it, and seal it up. And I want to use this in my Titan cosplay, which I'm going to be finishing in time for PAX East next year. At least that's the plan. So I'm going to go ahead and make a full set of Titan armor. And I've actually kind of promised to make 2 sets of Titan or Hunter armor, one for my brother and one for my friend. I know there's a lot I have on my on my table, but I mean this is something that this has been my Sundays for like the last 3 weeks, is just making stuff out of foam. I built this in one Sunday. Actually, it was like a quarter of a Sunday, and I built the hand cannon in about one Sunday, and I've been messing around with paint for like the last 3 days now because I can't get it right. The hand cannon itself isn't right either, but I've learned a lot from this, so I'm really excited to go on and actually make a full set of armor now out of foam. It's going to be really exciting. But like I said, Bill actually had the blueprints for this knife as well as for the hand cannon. So I started with the knife and I made it, and I was like, yeah, this is great, I made it on my own. The story is like, this is from a fallen comrade, a fellow hunter. who I worked along with as a Titan, and now I've taken his knife and I've modified it. I'm going to change things about it. I'm going to make it more Titan friendly. I think there are things Titan would do to a knife because they're much stronger and beefier. Maybe they wouldn't have the sharp tip. It'd be like a chisel edge. I might make this into a chisel point, you know, more blunt force. And it's going to have a little bit of its own piece of story because I'm not all about just making things accurate. I like doing my own lore, and that's going to be very important to me in my Titan cosplay. While I am going to try and replicate my Titan as accurately as I can, haven't really decided what armor yet. Helm of Inmost Light is most definitely going there. It's going to be exciting nonetheless. But I moved on from the knife. I didn't finish painting it because paint was kind of expensive. And I moved on to the hand cannon, which isn't finished either. It's not even close to perfect. It still needs a little bit of work. And I've learned a lot while doing this. There are parts that are really beautifully done. Like, I don't know if you can see this little mechanism here which you would hit with your thumb to release the cylinder. I spent a lot of time on that and I refined it because I was able to pull it off. The grips, I don't care much for. They need to be redone. The hammer came out pretty good, actually, considering I made it out of foam. Probably be better to cut it out of some type of plastic. It's not perfect at all. It has a lot of imperfections, but you know what? It's mine. And when I'm done with it, I'm going to have the Vanguard stencil. The cylinder is actually going to be white as well. I'm going to have the orange and gray Vanguard stencil like you see on a lot of the white Vanguard weapons, and then I'm going to go back and weather it, and then I'm going to gloss it. It'll be nice and shiny. I'm probably going to do up the trigger. This base is going to be done up silver because this is supposed to be a piece of metal on the bottom of the, you know, gun there. The bottom of the the bottom of the handles. You know, I'm just excited to finish it. It's not perfect at all, but this is the second thing I've ever made out of foam, the knife being the first. And I've come such a long way. I've learned so many things, not just from watching Bill's videos and other videos on, you know, foamsmithing, as Bill would call it. But also I picked up 2 of his books, which were around $10 a piece, I believe. I actually got the one on sale, along with the blueprints, which were completely free for these. I mean, really, all you're going to do is you're going to go over, you're going to watch either of these videos for whichever one you want to make. He's going to show you what you do. He's going to show you how to print out the blueprints on his website, which are completely free. And he's going to show you pretty much what to do from there. Honestly, this is really affordable, and I'm going to tell you guys right now, basically, what the amount of money you're going to need if you want to get into this. Here's what you really need to buy. You need to have an X-Acto knife. I strongly recommend one of those self-healing cutting sheets, like this one right here. You can pick these up for like 14 bucks at your hobby store. They make using an X-Acto knife much, much easier. Definitely recommend them. A glue. Usually you can use barge cement, or in this case, Elmer's rubber cement actually works. Definitely watch some videos on how to use it properly when it comes to sealing foam together, and you can make foam that will pretty much never come apart. As I said, your X-Acto knife, again, 4 or 5 bucks from the hobby shop. The foam itself, of course, being the most important thing, which you can pick up in sheets. Usually 99 cents a sheets I've seen for the 2mm and the 6mm stuff at your craft store. You can get it online a little bit cheaper. And then you can also get the thicker, I believe they're like 10mm floor mats that you would use for like a kid's playpen, and you can use those to, like, you know, use one piece for the knife. In this case, I used 2 6mm pieces, or you use 2 pieces for the hand cannon. You can see I used a lot of 6mm pieces because I didn't have the floor mats. But you know, you could go out and buy those. So the foam is actually really affordable. Honestly, if you and your friends got together on a weekend and said, screw going to the movies, screw going out to eat, let's not go to the bar, let's pool our money together, 10 bucks a pop even, you know, whatever. You could go out and you could get all the materials and enough foam to build yourself, each probably, if you had 4 of you guys, a hunter knife. And then you could paint them up, and you could throw them at each other and pretend you were hunters from Destiny, and you could have a really good time and learn something that week. And I promise you, if you start with this knife, you're going to be inspired to build a lot more, and you're probably going to move on to the hand cannon, and then who knows from there. The sky's the limit. I'd be really excited to see anything that you guys do make if you are inspired by this or Bill's work. Like I said, please go check out his stuff. It is the #1 place to start if you are at all interested in making stuff out of foam. So that was really it. I really just wanted to share this with you guys. I wanted to get you excited about the idea of building stuff out of foam. I think there's a lot of really cool stuff here. I'm going to be really excited to actually go ahead and start making my armor. I've learned a lot from both of Bill's books, which, as I said, honestly, if you even get into this, if you make the knife, do yourself a favor and pick up Bill's books. At least pick up the first one. There's a lot of great tips and tutorials in there. You know, makeshift tools, because obviously tools are important. You know, having things like a Dremel would be helpful for a lot of these items. I use the Dremel big time on both of these, but you can hand sand stuff. You can use like a drill with a sanding bit. You know, there's a lot of alternatives to the more high-end tools that somebody like Bill, who, you know, runs a prop shop, might use. You know, I have a Dremel. I have the convenience of that. They're cheap if you want to pick one up. Maybe your dad has one or your uncle has one. But you can do a lot of stuff by hand. You don't have to go out and get a Dremel. You can also, as I said, use an alternative like a drill. It's not going to be as precise, but you can still make it work. And I think this is just start it, right? Don't sit there and say, I don't have this tool, I don't have that tool. See what you do have and go from there. The knife is really basic. It doesn't require a lot of equipment. And go from there. And I think you'll be inspired. And I like to share this kind of stuff with people because I feel that as human beings, most people in life, they go to their 9 to 5. They do what they need to do to get by on a day-to-day basis. They work. They don't think of small things in life that can provide entertainment, much like sitting around watching television for hours on end, but can also allow you to expand your mind, learn a skill, develop yourself, and create something that I promise you is going to be much more satisfying than a 6-hour binge of Lost on Netflix. When you finish this knife, it will be your knife. You made it with your hands. There is nothing as satisfying as that. It's a lost art, building your own stuff, fixing your own things. People don't understand how to do that anymore. They don't understand how to fix their car. They don't even know how to open the hood on their car to change the oil or put in frickin' windshield washer fluid. We've lost the basics of, you know, being a functional and reasonable human. I see it every day with the kids that I work with other people I work with. No one knows how to think outside the box in even the smallest degree. In building stuff out of foam, it's all about thinking outside of the box. How can I make these holes perfect? In Bill's case, a piece of sharpened PVC pipe. In my case, hey, guess what? I've got a drill with a wood bit. Some of these other holes, a pen. I sawed the tip off the pen to make a perfect size hole. A bottle cap that I sharpened to make, you know, one of the marks inside of on the knife initially. It's all about creativity. It's all about ingenuity and thinking outside of the box. And when you finish something and you even get as far as this and you finally get that shape just right and it actually looks like the knife from Destiny, you're going to feel really good and you're going to want to keep going and you're going to keep going. And that's what inspiration is all about. And I think that building things from scratch with your own hands is purely inspirational. It's a really immensely satisfying experience. It is in many ways a meditative experience. And I recommend it to everybody. And the cool thing about this is young people can do this. You can do this with your younger kid, your younger son, and they can have the most badass costume when they go to school for Halloween, you know? Probably omit the foam guns. I don't know how they are about that kind of stuff at schools, but hey, your kid can still walk around like a mini Titan or whatever character he loves. Maybe you make somebody from Minecraft. It doesn't matter. You can build anything out of foam, and the resources on the internet are endless for prop building. The 405th, a huge costuming outfit, has tons of stuff on their forums that everyone has access to on building stuff out of foam, pepakura, whatever it may be. Prop making as a whole, even going, you know, to the more basic prop making out of cardboard and styrofoam, is an amazing experience. It's an amazing hobby, and it's one that I strongly recommend you get into as a youth, as an older person. Maybe you want to bring your kids into it. Just check it out. Check out Bill's videos. They're a great place to start. If you're a huge Destiny fan, do yourself a favor, make that knife, and then go for the hand cannon. It's a really fun experience. I can't wait to continue to refine this hand cannon. I'm going to finish it up, get it painted, and then honestly, I'm making another one. I'm actually already looking at making Last Word. It looks really intimidating, but I think if I can capture the important essences of what makes Last Word from a visual standpoint, like it's, you know, sort of shaved straight cylinder, it's not perfectly round, the length of the barrel, you know, a lot of different components, I feel like I can make it happen out of foam. And I've learned a lot from watching Bill's stuff, and honestly, this kind of stuff, this is the stuff I grew up with, making things out of wood, just, you know, from scratch. As a kid, I did a lot of stuff with my dad. I have that ingenuity. It's just, it's in my brain. It comes naturally to me. You know, that will to just kind of figure out how things should be built and how I can build them. And when you read something like Bill's books, you know, someone who has years of experience, like going on 10 years now, I think he's been doing prop making. You know, the tools are there. How far do you want to take your mind and your imagination? How far do you want to push your creativity and, you know, your ingenuity to make stuff like this? I could go online. I could work, you know, overtime for the next 3 weeks so I can buy my Last Word from Etsy from some guy who 3D printed it and then painted it. Or I can make my own out of foam, and it's mine. I made it. People come into my room, they see it hanging on my wall. Dude, where'd you get that? I made it from foam. Let me show you how. Maybe you can make your own. So I hope I inspired you guys a little bit today. I'm going to keep you updated with the costume part of this. Obviously, the building of the Titan and the Hunter armor. Luckily, I have the help of my wonderful girlfriend who's going to be hand sewing me some Hunter cloaks and some Titan marks. That's something that we're going to be doing actually probably before the outfits are built. So I'll share that with you guys. I'm excited about the Titan mark. I don't want to tell you which one I'm doing if you're a Destiny fan. You probably see it on my Titan all the time. I'm really excited for it. We're going to try and build it out of some really nice fabric, and it's going to be an awesome addition to the Titan costume when it's set and done. If you guys have any questions for me whatsoever about what I talked about in this video, or any more of a reason to get into making cool stuff out of foam, foam prop making, go check out all the links I have in the description below, whether it be build stuff or some of the videos that Stealth does over at the Heroes Workshop. He doesn't have a lot of tutorial stuff there, but they are definitely inspirational, and you can see kind of how his process works. Bill has a crazy library of stuff on his website. Again, those books on foam smithing, which are really affordable. He has some free blueprints. He also has a massive archive of videos, including live builds. He does live streams of his builds. They're some of the best things you can watch if you want to see some of the tips and tricks of a 9-year veteran of the prop making industry, as well as just a lot of his direct videos that have great tutorials on, you know, X-Acto knife uses, how to properly use rubber cement or contact cement, you know, the best ways to cut foam. You know, there's a lot of great stuff on his channel. Give it a go, and if you're inspired and you actually do make something, I don't even care if it's within the next year, feel free to tweet me at any time with an image of your hunter knife or your hand cannon in its most basic or finished form. I just want to know how many people actually got into this. I really do recommend giving it a go. It's easier than you think. That's the thing. Everyone thinks it's hard. I can't do that. It's so difficult. It's not. Give it a go. Make some hunter knives. Get together. Throw them at your friends. Throw them at your sister. Throw them at your brother. And just have a good time learning something new in life. Hopefully, maybe, just possibly, I will see you one day at a gaming convention, perhaps PAX East, dressed in your own set of cosplay armor, inspired by this very video and by many other prop makers like Build and Ran and Stealth of Heroes Workshop. I'll see you guys sometime in the future.